We are increasingly living through a white collar recession, which I've talked about before, and it is completely rewiring how people think about money, career, financial planning. And this goes very far beyond job hunting. So even if you are not actively job hunting, it's very important to understand kind of what's happening right now. So we've seen kind of a freeze in the job market, especially around white collar jobs. Companies aren't hiring, they're beginning to lay off, they're touting how AI is going to lead to a smaller workforce. College grads, especially, are struggling to find jobs. Also, AI has made it easier than ever to apply for a job, but that has also made it more difficult in the job market because we're seeing postings get hundreds and hundreds of job applications. So it's very, very hard to stand out. And I think there's just generally this feeling of like, okay, I've gone to college, I've gotten this kind of degree. I was kind of promised a more stable career, and we're just seeing that either disappear or become so competitive that it's just impossible to get ahead. And the reason it's so important to understand what's happening right now is that changes how people think about money and make decisions about money and just their general risk assessment. And I think most people's risk assessment when it comes to their careers is vastly different than it was even 3 years ago. And I think the idea of like going to college, getting a steady paycheck that, I think a lot of us once believed, that underlies a lot of personal finance advice. And if that starts to break down, that completely changes how people approach their money. It's hard for you to plan a long-term financial future when you don't think your industry will exist in 5 years, for example. And I think that's why we're seeing this kind of rise of people making a lot more short-term financial decisions because long-term planning just feels pointless to them. We're seeing people like hoard cash. We're seeing people like take these really big financial risks through like day trading and side hustles and crypto because these safe career paths just no longer feel safe. And all of this, whether you're laid off or not, I think has a lot of people thinking about their relationship with value and work and identity. And I think a lot of people are losing faith in this idea of, working hard, getting a really good education, and then kind of being set for life. That kind of contract has broken down. And I think that framework used to drive people's financial behavior for the past few decades. And what happens then when that belief completely disappears?